Yashodanandana Gajajanarandana Yashodanandana Gajajanarandana Monatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Rivarahari Gopi Jana Vallabha Rivarahari Shonanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shonanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Monatira Vanachari Monatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Rivarahari Gopi Jana Vallabha Rivarahari Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Shodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Monatira Vanachari Monatira Vanachari Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Hare Krishna, so looks like we're on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, Text 17, is that correct? Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Pure Param Narataram Swayam Jayatir Animanamnam Akanaditam Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Praktiti Param Nirnataram Swayam Jatur Animanam Akanaditam Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Prakti Param Nirataram Swayam Jatir Ananam Akanditam Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Prakti Param Nirataram
Animanam Akanditam
Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Animanam Akanditam
Animanam Akanditam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Animanam Akanditam
Animanam Akanditam Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Prakrite Param Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir Animanam Akanditam Tada Purusha Atmanam Kevalam Prakrite Param Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir Animanam Akanditam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Animanam Akanditam
Animanam Akanditam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Animanam Akanditam
Animanam Akanditam. Online.
Hare Krishna. Tada Purusha Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Kevalam Prakrite Param
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Nirantaram Swayam Jyotir
Animanam Akhanditam.
Animanam Akanditam.
Tada Purusha Atmanam
Tada Purusha Atmanam
केवलं प्रकृते परं
Kevalam prakrite param
निरन्तरं स्वयं ज्योतिर्
Nirantaram swayam jyotir
अनिमानमखण्डितम्
Animanam akanditam
तदा पुरुष आत्मानं
Tada purusha atmanam
केवलं प्रकृते परं
Kevalam prakrite param
निरन्तरं स्वयं ज्योतिर्
Nirantaram swayam jyotir
अणिमानमखण्डितम्
Animanam akanditam Tada then Purusha
Atmanam himself. Kevalam pure. Prakriti param transcendental to material existence. Narataram non-different. Swayam Jayati self-effulgent. Animanam infinitesimal. Akhanditam not fragmented. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. At that time, the soul can see himself to be transcendental to material existence and always self-effulgent, never fragmented, although very minute in size. Purport. In the state of pure consciousness or Krishna consciousness, one can see himself as a minute particle non-different from the Supreme Lord. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, the jiva, or the individual soul, is eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Just as the sun rays are minute particles of the brilliant constitution of the sun, so the living entity is a minute particle of the Supreme Spirit. The individual soul and the Supreme Lord are not separated as immaterial differentiation. The individual soul is a particular form. The soul is a particular from the very beginning. One should not think that because the individual soul is a particle, it is fragmented from the whole spirit. Mayadeva philosophy initiates that the whole spirit exists, but a part of it, which is called jiva, is entrapped by illusion. This philosophy, however, is unacceptable because spirit cannot be divided like a fragment of matter. The jiva, is eternally a part, as long as the Supreme Spirit exists. Its part and parcel also exists. As long as the sun exists, the molecules of the sun rays also exist. The jiva particle is estimated in the Vedic literature to be 1/10,000th size of the upper portion of a hair. It is therefore infinitesimal. The Supreme Spirit is infinite, but the living entity or the individual soul is infinitesimal. Although it is not different in quality from the Supreme Spirit, two words in this verse are to be particularly noted. One is Narataram, which means non-different or of the same quality. The individual soul is also expressed here as Animanam. Animanam means infinitesimal. The Supreme Spirit is all-pervading, but the very small spirit is this individual soul. Akadhitam means not exactly fragmented, but constitutionally always infinitesimal. No one can separate the molecule parts or of the sunshine from the sun, but at the same time, the molecule part of the sunshine is not as expansive as the sun itself. Similarly, this living entity, by its constitutional position, is qualitatively the same as the Supreme Spirit, but he's infinitesimal. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Raj, if you have any words of wisdom, always feel free to comment. He has something.
This is a wonderful philosophy because it explains exactly the position of individual living beings, matter, which there's so much matter, water, and other elements, and then the position of the Supreme Person. So, the position of the Supreme Person and the position of the part and parcel living entities is said to be of a superior type nature. Krishna calls the living entities to be Paraprakriti because they're greater than the other 8 material elements of Paraprakriti. Bhumira, Bhoma, Vayu, Kamana. Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Those are the material energies separated from the Lord. Living entities are of a superior nature. Maya Vangso, Jiva Loka, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So there is eternal parts and parcels, but they're conscious. And as he explains, Nityo Nityanam, Chaitanas Chaitananam, Eko Bahunam Vidata Kama. That living entities are both conscious and eternal. Like the Lord, He's conscious and He's eternal. But the difference is, He supplies the necessities of all other living entities. That's the unique quality of God. And the Mayavadis and any philosophers who try to make a speculation to explain it differently than this run into problems. Sometimes people say, we're one with the Lord, and that's all, just one. We're the same as God, and therefore we are God. That's a big mistake. And then others think there is no God. Everything is just coming from matter, and matter just came accidentally. Problem there is, there has to be an original source. Even sometimes they say everything is eternal. Everything's always existing. That sounds like a good way to get things explained, but we don't see anything in our experience that is eternally existent. We always see that there's a source. And even if we say, well, we don't see a source to the sun must just be existing permanently. No, that's just because our limited senses, our limitations are such that we cannot perceive the source. But Krishna explains everything, that Janmani Jayati, everything comes from Him. Also the Vedas say that He's the source, and He's eternal, and living entities are also eternal. But as stated by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva, they're one and different from Him at the same time, which makes it perfect, because otherwise how would He be able to be conscious of everything? He knows where everything is. He knows how everything works. He knows the Shatur Shaturgya. He's the knower of all living entities, all the bodies. We know the pains and pleasures of our body, but we don't know the pains and pleasures of all bodies, but the Lord does. So in this way, very important and wonderful philosophy that can resolve all doubts and all confusion about everything. Because that simple, as they say, put on your back of your T-shirt, Shinchiveda Tattva. That explains everything, simultaneously, inconceivably, one and different. That's the Lord. Thank you.
Yes, we are all parcels of the Supreme. We're not the same. He's the creator. We are the created. That's the difference. So we as he was saying, that we're not the same as the whole. We're parts and parcels. And as jivas, our consciousness has been caught up in this illusion, the material world. And we have forgotten our position as these parts and parcels, our constitutional position as a servant of the Supreme. And so here in Krishna consciousness, we are learning how to become that part and parcel once again, how to remember how to be that servant. And there's this is such a nice program, so many nice stages in this, with our sadhana. But one of the things that we're learning how to do is learning how to serve God in love and devotion. And to learn love, one first has to learn faith. The only way one can develop faith is through action, is through workings, through associating with devotees, through reading the literature, seeing the deities, singing to them. All these things are works of faith. And also service. Service is a big portion of it. You can't increase your faith without serving the Lord. So if we want to increase our love for God, we first have to increase our faith. They go hand in hand. You cannot love God without faith. If you have no faith, then there's no love for God. Those without faith just don't know God. Atheist has no faith in God. So, first step is association with devotees, studying the scriptures, studying, the Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, indulging yourself 24/7 in Krishna consciousness and getting lost in your service. And the most important thing about all of this is learning how to be in the present moment, to be here in the present moment with Krishna. When we're doing our service or chanting our rounds, we don't need to be thinking about something in the future or something in the past. We got to be here in the present moment. Be here now with Krishna. All these things, each and every moment, is helping us increase our faith. And as we increase our faith, we're increasing our love for Krishna. And it's through the Guru that we are being shown how to serve Krishna, how to increase our faith, how to love Krishna. Because ultimately, we don't know what love is in this world. We only know this perverted form of love that we've been taught. People use it so loosely. I love my car. I love my house. I love my job. I love my yard. I love my cat. I love my pet goldfish, fish fry. All kinds of things that we say we love. So in essence, we don't really know what true love is, because we only know this perverted form of love that we've been given here in this material world. And so as one increases their faith in Krishna, one increases their love for Krishna. And as this increases, their taste for devotional service increases. Because in the beginning, when one has little faith and little love, there's the taste for devotional service can seem awfully bitter. It can seem almost like poison at first. It's like, oh man, how many more rounds do I have to go? I'm only on my second round. Oh. But over time, you stick to it. You build your faith by practicing your works, doing your rounds, practicing, keeping up on your sadhana, getting up in the morning, coming in with Mangalarti, listen, showing up for the classes, doing your service, and learning to be present in the present moment with Krishna. Not somewhere in the past, not somewhere in the future, but here in the present moment, when you're doing your service, when you're doing your rounds, when you're in class, when you're seeing the deities, when you're singing Mangalarti, be in the present moment with Krishna, because that's where he's at. And through this, you'll begin to develop the taste by increasing your faith, you're increasing your love, you're increasing your taste. As that is all increasing, you're also increasing your attachment for Krishna. All these things are building blocks and stages. One builds upon the other. Are there any questions or comments? Yes, Prabhu.
I was just reminded that the individuality of the soul, which we were speaking about here, is a primary factor in this devotion that you mentioned. This system, working, doing some service for Krishna, you're building faith in Him and developing love for Him. It's not possible if we were the same person. And it's also not possible if we weren't of the same quality, because to serve a great king, one has to be a great qualified associate. So that was a little reflection.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, if you're the same quality, then there's no need to increase your service and increase your faith and love. But we're not of the same quality. We're a part and parcel. It's been caught up in this illusion, chasing after our sense gratification. In essence, we are our own worst enemy when it comes to our separation between ourselves and God. When we're out chasing our sense gratification, we're creating our own suffering. Each and every moment that we're chasing after these silly things. Because the more we're chasing after our sense gratification, the longer that we're being separated from Krishna, separated from the real enjoyer. And it's only once we become a part and parcel of the real enjoyer and start serving the real enjoyer that we can all partake in the enjoyment. So let us always remember to pray to Krishna, to Gaurnitai, to increase our faith, increase our service, to help us remember to be present in each and every moment. Be here now with Krishna. These are building blocks to build our faith, to build our love, and to build our attachment. Jambavati ki jai. Oh, wait a second. I still got 10 minutes, don't I? I'm used to Bhagavad Gita class. Yeah, we can continue. Should we do another verse? Okay. Let's move on to text 8. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm used to I'm thinking 8:20, in the evening, Bhagavad Gita class,
Hare Krishna. Yeah, so I have one question that we are as a part and parcel of Krishna, right? And like the analogy given in Shastra is like fire and those spark coming out of fire. So until unless we are with those fire, that the spark is with those fire, that fire, then it remain in a contact. If it goes out, it just bloom. It perished in world. So the same way we are also we all are part and parcel of the same supreme being. So how, like, as our nature is also the same, to serve the Lord, this is our eternal nature, and Satchidanand Swarup, we all are Satchidanand, but he's a Vibhu, we is Anu. So that's the only difference. Achintya Beda Bed. Otherwise, everything is same. So why? I have the question, like, in spiritual world, we all have a same nature, same qualities. So what's the difference? I mean, because Krishna loves the difference in service attitude, right?
Mm.
So how that difference comes and how we understand ourselves, like, yes, I have this, I have the attitude towards Krishna, like this particular service based.
Oh, so the differences in the spiritual world, that what brings us our differences. Oh, we got a comment from Mirage.
We're ready for you.
Because the Lord has arranged it that way. He is the supreme controller, and naturally, he likes to have different relationships, different persons. We have this tendency too. A man has several children. They're similar in some ways they're different. And he enjoys the differences and the similarities. So these are certain things that are designed by the Lord the way he wants it. And there's really not much that we can object. It's like sometimes people object. Why does there have to be misery in the material world? Why can't God just make it? If he's so great, why can't he just make it so everyone's happy and there's no miseries? Well, he's done that too. He has that in the spiritual world, but that's only for those who want it. Some people, they want to become God, and they want to fight in competition to see if they can become it. That's the only thing they'll be satisfied with. Sometimes you see the demons in the scriptures, they look forward to being defeated by Krishna, because no one else can defeat them. They become very proud. So they like this idea of competing with God. But the Lord he's the original person. So as we have desires to have many friends and sisters and brothers and fathers and mothers and all these different relationships, that all comes from Krishna. It's all part of the perfect plan. Thank you.
Yeah, so when you get in, read the stream of Bhagavatam and read about the different aspects of the spiritual world, you find that we serve in many different capacities in the spiritual world. Some of us will return as flowers in the spiritual world, so we can serve in a way that Krishna can smell our fragrance every day. Some of us will return as bees in the spiritual world. Some of us will return as, animals and plants. I mean, because the spiritual world is a reflection. The material world is a perverted reflection of the spiritual world. Everything that we have in this material world is in the spiritual world. So that's something to remember. I mean, there's so many different capacities that Krishna has provided to serve him. It's not all one and the same. It's like I remember growing up in Christianity. It's like, okay, we when we go to heaven, we just go there and enjoy what? What do we do? What are we doing? There was never really an answer to what we do in heaven. When I was growing up Christian, it's like, oh, we just go we just enjoy God in heaven. Oh, what is that? But the spiritual world, as you read in the stream of Bhagavatam, is magnificent place, and all kinds of interactions are going on. His pastimes are always going on. Each and every moment, Krishna has a pastime going on. And so it's so important to remember that we're all individuals. And in this movement, it's also important to remember that we're meant to go back to Krishna together as a group. We're not here to do this alone. Krishna did not, create Krishna this movement. Prabhupada did not create this movement, this movement in the West, to be a solo adventure. It's very much needed for association with devotees, all these other parts and parcels of God, to go back home to Godhead. So devotee association is so important to get back home to Him. We can't do it without each other. We can't do it without the spiritual master. It's I think some of the biggest mistakes of some aspiring devotees get into is, wanting to try to do this on their own. They have their own ideas. They have their own vision of, what spiritual life is. They go out and try to do it on their own because, like, oh, that person's sadhana is not that good. This person has fault. That person has faults, and they look at all the devotees' faults and not at their own sadhana and trying to get their own sadhana perfected first. And that's what we all need to focus on, is ourselves, not so much as what other devotees are doing. We gotta make sure our sadhana is strong, and the best way to move forward in this movement is, to be a leader. How do you be a leader? With strong sadhana. Get perfect in your sadhana, excellent in your sadhana, and don't worry about other people's sadhanas. Don't look at other people's faults. Just look at them with love and compassion, because they're parts and parcels. They're on this pathway, this journey together. And just through your example of strong sadhana and leading in that way, you can help through your association to bring people back home, back to Godhead. So devotee association is so important, to stay with devotee association. even though we're amongst so many devotees, all of us have faults, all of us have problems, all of us stumble from time to time. All of us might get angry with one another from time to time, but it's important that we grow together. That's the most important thing. It's devotee association, because that's the way Krishna has planned it, for us to be able to work together as parts and parcels. Because if we can't work together, how can we be a part and parcel back with him? It's okay if that's our time, unless there's any last minute questions or comments. Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Yeah, I'm trying to end class 10 minutes early. Hare Krishna. That always throws me off the time.